chairs in middle school, they were the perfect height for you to lean back and just be like, you know? When I started, I didn't know that this is what I was doing. It was more of like a being done. Like, I'm in pain all the time. I've had this back pain in my upper butt shelf for as long as I can remember. And I'm just done. And so I laid down on my floor in my bedroom while I was watching TV. And I just put a tennis ball between the floor and myself on that upper butt shelf. What is an upper butt shelf? Surprisingly, I don't have a lot of pictures of me from the side that show off my upper butt shelf 100 pounds ago. But I got one. What I figured was happening was I had shitty posture and my body was compensating. I knew that I had like just massive quads my whole life, and I knew that I had my square-shaped butt because of the upper butt shelf. What I found was that I do indeed have very bad posture. I have what is called an anterior pelvic tilt. An anterior pelvic tilt is the out position. It's where you have an arched back, you know? But unfortunately, that incredibly attractive arched back that you're doing is f***ing up your spine. My anterior pelvic tilt essentially puts the entire weight of my upper body on the curve of my spine, trying to snap myself in half. But thank God for my upper butt shelf holding my together so that I don't snap in half. So, essentially, the anterior pelvic tilt comes from not just wanting your out, but from being a lazy son of a bitch. That describes me. So you underwork your glutes and your hamstrings and your hip flexors, and you overwork your massive quads. So I figured what I would do is use my trusty tennis ball, put it between me and the floor, get rid of the shelf, and then just kind of try to casually like build those muscles up. Like maybe try to make my quads stop. I don't know. I'm just tired of having this. I'm tired of it being in pain, and I'm gonna smoosh it. After I finished with my upper butt shelf and it was sufficiently gone to me, like it was no longer a bump. There was more, but it was a lot of change. So much so that I kind of had phantom limb for my upper butt shelf. Like, I still actually have upper butt shelf phantom limb. It feels like it should be there. I'm so accustomed to feeling it when, like, you know, I run my arm down my back. There's a bump right before my flat butt. But it was a good thing to have a phantom butt shelf. And I wanted more. So I started to think about how when I go for a walk, about 10 minutes in, my shoulder blades are pulled together so tightly that it's physically painful to continue. And even if I stop walking, it's going to hurt for a good while. Because as we established, it's rather like carrying a heavy backpack, and I have so many burdens that it's a physical weight on me when I walk. In actuality, I have shitty posture. I really liked how it felt when I got rid of my upper shelf, and I wanted more, but the biggest thing about me is that I'm all about effort. Like, if this is going to be more effort than it's worth, I'm not going to do it. Like, if I have to go for a walk, I don't want that. I'm so tired. Can I just do it easily? So that's how I did it. I wanted to tackle my shoulder blades in between those bad boys. So the tennis ball can go back behind there, but that only goes so far. And I came to find out that my shoulder blades do not move, and shoulder blades should move. So my shoulder blades were glued down with fascia. And it wasn't going to be so easy to get that space in between my shoulder blades to cool it. But I started, and that's what matters. And I found that the place in my house that is the exact perfect height for working on my shoulder blades is my bathtub. So I would sit here with my back up against the bathtub side and just kind of groove. And I would lose track of time sitting there next to my warped wood siding of the bathtub. It became a really meditative experience for me, unintentionally. I am not a meditator. I do not meditate. I've got too much shit on my mind, you know? I'd be sitting there getting the pops and the cracks and the tears, and I would be on Reddit, scrolling my Reddit feed endlessly, like you do. And eventually I would just kind of stop and I would put the phone down. I didn't really think about it. It was just like, oh, I want to focus on this one spot and I want to close my eyes. Because the entire time you're doing the pops and the cracks and the tears, you have to take deep breaths. And when you are a very tense individual, you do not like to take deep breaths. And when your ribs are absolutely encased in fascia overgrowth, you can't take a deep breath. So you just do your best. But it became very meditative for me because I was focusing. I really like this way of doing therapy because it's tactile. I can feel the emotion getting released. I can feel trauma coming out. I can feel relief when I drink a ton of water instantly. I like it. I am an instant results person and I am a tactile person. And therapy, you know, A friend of mine, an ex-friend of mine, once said, "You know exactly what is wrong with you. You know every single issue that you are facing in your mind, but you're not gonna do anything about it." And it's not untrue. It's not. Because effort. Because what it takes for me to do something is like, it's got to be dire. I don't have enough spoons for this shit. Make it life or death, and then I'll be like, fine. It's like my carbon monoxide detector thing the other day. It was making the four beeps, and the four beeps is the "you gon' die" beeps. And so once I found it, I was like, "Oh my, oh dear!" Oh. But then I had a thought, and I was like, "Why did I only hear the four beeps like 2 days ago, and then again today? Like, that's not how carbon monoxide works." And I saw that the same beeps are done for "I'm at the end of my life," and "you gon' die." So that's helpful to me because I do need to feel like it's a life or death situation in order to do boring homeowner shit. What was I talking about? So it's very meditative. And I started, getting past that first layer, the first layer that some massage therapists can sometimes get through some of after a great deal of time. I started to get through that layer, and that's when the emotions started. Big feelings, big surprises, and, shit I didn't want to process at the time, but now that there's this tactile thing, I feel like more connected to my body, more willing to do the work for her. I've been trying to do this this crazy thing where I self-talk myself as if I am my best friend, because I will give anybody an absolute fuck ton of grace, but I better be perfect, and that's not cool. You can't live that way. So I talk to myself like I'm, someone I love. Until I learn how to love myself, I'm just gonna act like I love myself. I'm just gonna, have an imaginary friend that loves me until I can do it.